Hi, Tanay. This is Mayank, and wonderful to have you here. So, how are you doing, Tanay, today? How are you feeling?
Good to be here.
Okay, Tanay, before
I
we start.
am feeling great, sir. Good to be here. Good to be here.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, Tanay, before we start talking about your writing and all other passion, I would want to know a little more about who Tanay is outside of writing, your background, location, everything you want to share with us.
Outside of writing, to be very honest, it's very difficult to say what I am outside of writing because I've never seen myself being anything else if I would not have been into writing. I
Okay.
started off my journey as a very young, to be very honest. I started off my journey when I got first diagnosed with social anxiety disorder at 10.
What's that?
So,
Sorry to ask you that. Can I ask you that question? May I ask you
yes,
what
you
that
can.
is?
Yes. Yes, you can. So
Mhm.
when I was 10 years old, I also always had, as a kid, I always had issues with basically interacting with people and going out, socializing and all of that. And at first it was passed on as normal, as being shy, as someone who is not very talkative and something like that until the time when
Tanay, may I
finally
interrupt? Your voice
my,
is dropping. Can you hold the microphone a little closer? Sorry. Sorry.
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Can you hear me now?
This is perfect. Great.
All right. So uh, I was a little bit of a reserved person back then,
Okay.
and when I was taken to a psychiatrist, and after a lot of basically examination and all of that, it was found out that I had social anxiety disorder, and I always had this anxiety that was quite frightening for me earlier on, because when you're 8 or 9 years old and everybody tells you to basically go out there and socialize, when you're 8 or 9 years old, your parents tell you jao beta uske sath khelo and all that stuff. And I was not able to do that, and I would feel very anxious because I thought I thought ki it was very difficult for me to do that, and I was being told to do it over and over again. And because of that reason, I found it very difficult to cope with however things were. And after that, when I was advised by one of my teachers to basically start writing, just as, keeping a record of what I was doing every day and whatever the things that troubled me, that habit turned into writing poetry by the time I was 14. And that event took place because of the fact that I got exposure to poets like John Keats, Edgar Allan Poe, Sylvia Plath, as well as Rabindranath Tagore, Michael Madhusudan Datta, and all of that. So because of those kind of reasons, I found myself drawn into poetry. That's how my writing journey started. To tell my background without including writing it's going to be very difficult. I come from a family which has its roots in Bengal, but has been living in Assam for the last 3 generations.
Okay. Okay. So where are you based right
Yes.
now, Tanay?
Currently I'm in Assam. Ever since the COVID-19 outbreak, I have been in Assam.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, means I'm at home. So yes, before the COVID-19, I was in Bangalore. I have been working in Bangalore for the past 5 years, and ever since the outbreak, I've been here. I'm basically just now going through doing some small, whatever small projects I'm getting, because there is not much we can do at the moment. There is not much work out there. Everybody is kind of in that cocoon. Everybody is kind of in that small shell, because nobody wants to be too much exposed, and the world is in hibernation right now, quite frankly.
Oh, that's wonderful, and thank you so much for being so courageous about sharing your own personal challenges that you face and overcome. I'm so glad to hear that, and that sounds pretty inspiring. Tanay, I would want to learn how did you actually get the first break in terms of getting the first paid client or the first client in general for writing?
Okay, this is another interesting one, to be very honest. I so for me, I had to basically drop out of college when I was in third semester. And then I had to, because family pressure was, I had to take up accountancy. Family pressure, accountancy. Everybody wanted me to become an accountant.
And
I
ultimately
come
a
from
chartered
a,
accountant.
I,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, and I come from a family of lawyers, doctors, and accountants and
Okay.
teachers.
Okay. Okay.
So everybody wanted me to become any one of the four.
Oh, I can understand the pressure.
So
Correct.
yeah. So when people got to know that I wanted to pursue a career in writing, they were a little bit skeptical about it. So I
Okay.
had to drop out of college in my third semester, then take up literature, basically take up a literature course, BA in English honors. And when I was in my fourth semester in BA English honors,
Mm-hmm.
so this was back in 2013 or 14, something like that.
Okay.
So mind you, I should have finished my graduation by then.
Okay.
But because I wasted 1.5 years in commerce, I had to basically take a back door
Let's say
towards
you
my
did not
graduation
waste your
project.
year. You probably were reskilling yourself.
That's a very positive way to looking at it. Yes, thank you very much. So I had to basically take a different path altogether. So it was in 2013 or 14. I think one of my teachers
Mm-hmm.
suggested me that there was this competition going on. There was this, so they were basically looking for someone who can write a blog and all of that. And there was this competition going on, and whoever gets selected gets a 1-year project with them that will be about blogs and all other stuff. And I thought it was a very good, nice opportunity for me, because at that time I wasn't sure of where I was going with my writing. I had never published anything, and I was not necessarily the most outgoing person, as we have already established. So at that time, I was just very unsure of what I was supposed to be doing. And I just thought, okay, let me give this a try. If I don't take risks now, later it might be too late. So I took that risk. Yeah, I took that risk. I took part in that competition. I won.
Wow.
And I went, yeah, and I went on to write for them for a year. I wrote blogs for them for about a year, and most of it was not credited, obviously, because the website would always write the blogs and they would say, yeah, we did it, like that.
Always.
It wasn't like, okay, there would be, yeah, they wouldn't be mentioned, okay, done by so-and-so, this is the writer, this is the author,
Oh,
nothing
it
like that.
happens all the time. That's okay.
Yes. So I finished that in 2014. I think in 2014 Jan or so, January or February, finished that. I did it from 2013 January, February, and finished it in 2014 January or February. And I after that I got another opportunity in 2014 May, and this was for a friend who was coming up with a very different kind of an idea.
Okay.
So she wanted basically a platform where everybody who has one sort of an artistic talent to showcase themselves.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. Okay.
Yes, it was. It was very interesting. And unfortunately, at that time, we did not have enough people on board. So we had to shut down that project in 2015 April.
Okay.
I'm still in touch with her, and she's trying to basically collect more people so that we can start off that project sometime in next year.
Okay.
So this is a project. This is a project called. We call it. Currently, we have not officially named it anything. We call it the Artocan project. So it's art.
Sorry, say that again.
Okay. Artocan project. We
Okay,
call
Artocan.
project.
Okay.
Yeah, we call it the Artocan project. We haven't officially named it yet. So it's basically me, that girl, my friend Mahashweta, and some of her friends. So Shonali, Anveshan, and Abhilash. So there are just these are just currently there are just 4 or 5 of us. We are currently looking for more people who can invest in it, invest their time most probably,
Okay.
and be a little patient with it, because so that we can collect more people who can contribute to it. It will be more like a social media kind of thing,
Okay.
except that it will be for artists, writers, and other people. Of course, there will be a news section about articles, upcoming talents, and theater and performances. But there will be other things as well. So we are currently still trying to figure out how to make that business model work.
Okay.
But yes, that is there. And after that, in 2015, I got, I think, my first big break to work with a company. So this was a KPO, knowledge processing outsource, or something like that.
Okay.
So, so I got chance with them. I started writing for a voice process, and that helped.
Okay.
And after that, as far as content and blogging properly was concerned, my first big break was 2016 for a company called as Infocognitio.
Okay.
I met probably some of the best people I could have met in my entire lifetime. One of them being my first, one of them being one of my first bosses. Like earlier, there was no like proper boss or something.
Correct.
Yeah. Earlier, there was just me being an associate to a company or taking up a project or taking up a contract for some time. But this was like a proper company.
Okay.
And there I met some of the finest people I've ever met in my entire lifetime. One of them stand out, obviously. So this was not a person I directly reported to, but this was a person I learned a lot from, especially as far as work ethic was concerned.
Wonderful.
So his name is Karthik Shetty.
Okay.
So I met him in Infocognitio, and I remember learning from him a lot how to basically take up projects, how to talk to clients, how to build a good relationship with clients, how to build a good relationship at your workspace.
Those skills, I must tell you, Tanay, they are some of the most important skills you will have to learn for anybody who wants to build a career around freelancing. That's wonderful. That's amazing. Okay.
Exactly.
Tanay, I notice you have an interest in writing about food, travel, and tourism. So tell me a little more about writing about food.
Okay, this is going to be a long story. So
we will be having a lot of questions waiting, so we better keep it a little brief.
All right. Let's keep it a little brief. So this, I have written briefly about this in a very recent anthology I did. So travel anthology for a girl named Simran Kapoor. She compiled an anthology. I did a very small thing about it.
Okay.
So this started with my travel, or rather, I would rather like to call it my escapade.
Okay.
Escapade to a place called Rann of Kutch. So I Rann of Kutch in Gujarat. So
I'm based in Gujarat.
Heard a lot about that. Oh, okay, that's nice. That's nice.
Go ahead.
So I had heard about a lot. I had heard a lot about Rann of Kutch, but I never had the opportunity to really visit Rann of Kutch.
Okay.
Sometime in 2016 December or so, I spoke to one of my friends, and he told me that it was a very nice place.
Okay.
And after the way he described Rann of Kutch, after that description, I could not wait to visit it, and I did. One of the first things that I noticed was, so when I was visiting Rann of Kutch, I thought, okay, it would be like a salt marsh. I won't find anything to eat nearby, so I would better pack up and all other stuff. But the people were so much friendly in Bhuj. People were so much friendly. So after going to Bhuj and then traveling to the actual place, Rann of Kutch, was a rather smooth experience.
Correct.
Was a rather smooth experience. And the food they provided, and even at the in Bhuj, the local dhabas and all those places, the food they provided, I can still remember the texture of that food.
Oh, that's quite vivid.
Yes. So that is what actually got me into food writing.
Okay.
So after I came back from that, I went to my bosses. I was still working in Infocognitio at that time. I remember going to my bosses and telling me that I went to so-and-so place and I really enjoyed the food that they had. And maybe we should have more projects where we can write so-and-so things.
Okay.
And we did get more projects where I got to write more on food.
Okay.
And after I left Infocognitio, I was constantly on and off onto projects that had food. I have been to like what? I have been to probably every restaurant in Bangalore. In my
Okay.
5 years in Bangalore, I've been to almost every restaurant in Bangalore where I've eaten food, but not with my own money. So there would be clients who would pay me to go to this restaurant and eat food and then write a review about it.
I'm
So
sure a lot
yes,
of people would envy you for this. I am going to see a lot of people envying you for this. That's amazing. Oh, this
I
is
would
one of the
envy
most
myself for
interesting
this too.
stories. This is one of the most interesting stories we have picked up in the interview series. This is great. Okay, let's come to a
Yes.
little different kind of questions. You mentioned having read John Keats, Sylvia Plath, Tagore, Michael Madhusudan Datta. Is there a favorite book or a favorite author? Not just a single poem, but a favorite book or an author?
So my favorite book or an author, if I have to point out, it would be none of them, to be
Okay,
very honest.
okay,
My favorite book till date has been, it's not exactly a book, it's a half-finished work.
okay.
It's by an author named Franz Kafka.
Kafka is a very
And
famous name. Sure.
yes,
Mhm.
it is. It is a very famous name, and there's a half-finished story that he did. It is named a Hunger Artist.
Correct. I think I've heard of this.
That
Correct.
was yes, that is the most favorite thing that basically book that I've ever read in my entire lifetime. I still have it, and I sometimes when I'm like I don't have any material to read, I just go back and read it. Apart from
Oh,
that, another one that comes to my mind that I finished very recently, and that would be Kafka on the Shore by Haruki Murakami.
which is another, that's another famous and a very popular name these days. It's very,
Yes, it is.
oh,
It is. People have suddenly shifted their focus to basically Japanese literature, and people who have written in Japanese, but later their works have been translated to English. And
correct,
Haruki Murakami is a name that stands out quite much.
correct.
And yes, absolutely, I really like the way he has written. Not just Kafka on the Shore. There is another one, IQ 84, and then Norwegian Woods. You expect the book to be going somewhere else, but the story goes somewhere else, and for a moment you're stuck somewhere, and then suddenly you see an opening, and you just walk through that opening, and you find enlightenment. That's what the books are.
Correct, correct. And I have heard a lot of things about Kafka. Murakami. And even Kafka, I have read The Castle and I really loved it. Kafka was wonderful.
Yes.
This is great. So we do have a common author, at least we have Kafka to share. Wonderful. Great.
Yes,
okay.
we do.
Now I want you to tell me about yourself, but I want you to restrict yourself in 5 words. So what are the 5 words, no more, no less, that describe Tanai Sengupta?
I would say, sorry, 5 words aren't enough.
Let's try.
That is my answer. Sorry,
Okay,
5 words
okay.
aren't enough.
5 words aren't enough. Okay. So we'll take that as an, that's a very unusual answer. We'll take that as an answer. Okay. I'll be, just to switch on to a slightly lighter mode, I'll run you through a few rapid fire questions where I have some very simple options, alternatives for you. I want you to select one of the
Yes.
two. So
Okay.
what do you prefer? A sweet or an ice cream?
Sweet, definitely a sweet. I cannot have ice creams.
Okay. TV or movies?
Sorry?
Television, or would you watch movies?
I would probably watch a movie.
Okay. How about this? Fame, wisdom, or power? One of the 3.
Wisdom. Wisdom, definitely wisdom.
Great. Songs or podcasts?
This is a tough one. I would still go with songs.
Okay, and the last
because I
one.
listen to something.
Okay,
Yes, I listen
yeah.
to a lot of songs, so I'll go with songs.
Great, great. And the last one for this multiple choice, romantic movies or action movies? Don't tell me neither.
Depends on the story. Depends on the story. Depends on the story. If it is something like, say, for example, something like, I don't know if I'm not sure if the people who are listening to this podcast, how familiar are they with the movie Love Story? I think there was a 80s or 90s movie. There was a
Richard
movie
Buck?
called Love Story, a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, Richard Buck.
It was a Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes,
I'm sure
yes. I'm
most
not
people. There has also been a number of interpretations or derivative works in Hindi as well.
Yes, yes. That
Famous
one,
one.
that one really stands out. That
Okay.
one really stands out. But as far as action is concerned, if it is something like The Last Samurai or 300, then yes, obviously I'm watching that.
There, of course, there are no questions there. No questions there. Okay, tell me,
Yes, yes.
Tanay, one of the important questions we have here, although we'll be running short of time, so we'll pack it in as little
Yes.
as possible, is what are the challenges that you're facing as a writer today, and how are you trying to solve those challenges?
Challenges as a writer, to be very honest, whenever you're talking to a client or whenever you're going
I can't
to
hear you.
a
Sorry,
client and
I
trying.
can't hear you. Yeah,
Can you hear me now? Can you
yeah,
hear me now?
that's better. Sorry. Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, so whenever I'm going to a writer or whenever I'm talking to a client or going to another writer for work or something like that, or suppose there are a group of writers who are working for the same client.
Okay.
One of the biggest challenges that currently that I face or I've seen a lot of other writers face and struggle with
Mm-hmm.
is that how do I say this? There's an invisible cap around us,
Okay.
an invisible cap that restricts us and denies us of the creative freedom that a lot of us crave for.
Correct. Very true. Correct.
It's like there is some sort of unseen or in like invisible force that is like that is holding our hands and telling us you cannot do this. It's like it's really weird. It's really weird. But at the same time, to cope up with it, we have to figure out different things, right? We have to go through things like uh, basically figuring out what works, what doesn't work. There is a lot of experimentation process.
Very true.
There is a lot of there is a long drawn out uh, recording of the process. There is a long drawn out analysis. You can do your research. You can do everything you want to do. But at the end of everything, it's all about how you can come up with the best possible solution for the problem. But when the problem is something that keeps coming back and does not get solved,
Correct.
that is when the how do I say this? That is when
It's
we
probably
reach
something you're
something called as
hinting
a
at,
breaking.
thinking out of the box.
Not exactly out of the box. I'm saying that this is probably the point where we hit the breaking point or the point which we writers know as writer's block.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So when we talk about thinking out of the box, again, it's a very vague term. Sometimes what is out of the box for, like, let's say I'm going somewhere to travel, right? I'm writing for travel. What is out of the box for them is completely absurd if I'm writing something for, let's say, tech.
Okay.
It's completely absurd. What I can think about doing writing for travel as an out of the box thing, or writing for food as an out of the box thing, that will be completely absurd for something related to tech, where I have to follow every little detail,
Absolutely.
every little thing.
Correct.
So
I think that is
coming up with,
that is largely related to your own creative pursuits, because you are a lot into creative writing, poem and everything. So I'm sure, and I can actually feel that you probably be facing a lot of constraints when it comes to writing about technology. I can understand that. Okay, Panay, and we are just coming to the end of the interview, running out of time. So any last famous words for this particular interview? Last, something that we really would want to know more about Tanay, his writing. We have about a minute left.
famous words. Okay. Haven't
Maybe
become
a
famous
famous
enough
quote.
to have famous words.
Okay, you could give me a favorite quote of yours.
Favorite quote. There are so many. I cannot probably provide anything like that at the moment, because right now this feels very surreal, to be very honest.
Okay.
Like I remember, like even like last week when I saw your post, not last week, about like 10 days back.
Correct.
And I saw your post on LinkedIn, and I saw this opportunity. It feels so surreal. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank you for doing this, because there are a lot of us who are in the dark and who are figuring out a way to come out of that dark, and who have no idea how to do it. But
This
people
is
like
such an
you, there are
uplifting message. This is such an uplifting message for everybody who is trying to make it big, trying to grow, and at least fulfill their dreams. And I'm sure this is something they would really be happy to hear from you, fellow writer. It's been really amazing, and it's one of the most interesting conversations I've had lately. And I've really enjoyed thoroughly talking to you. And all my best wishes for your future projects. I hope to be in touch with you. Tanay, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, thank you,
Thank you.
thank you for having me, basically.
Thank you.
Yes.